get live. I have run into a serious problem, which I have resolved, of course. No, I haven't. I haven't resolved this problem. I resolved problems with the streaming software, but I have not, as of yet, resolved this other problem, which is I am now out of coffee. So that's cool. Got plenty of tobacco though, so that's always nice. And tobacco's good. I like it. Enjoy it. I think I've sorted out everything I need to with this streaming software. Let me boost this mic level. I know I'm not exactly breaking the sound barrier, but I'm so used to my last attempt at streaming a long time ago. I used to have a setup with my live, not with my live, with my my phone and a lapel mic, and the microphone was just super loud. And I'm sure no one really enjoyed listening to the sound of my AC unit. I actually recorded a podcast last night too, and I made some errors. You know, I'm not exactly it's something that's new to me. I've never done it before, and frankly, it's not really something that I intend to make a career out of. Not something that I'm going to take too seriously, but, you know, I had the ideas, I wanted to make them happen, so we're doing that. I'm making them happen, just so that way I don't have to worry about them ever again. And, yeah, so that's how that little, I guess you could say, podcast came about. Just for shits and giggles, really. I never understood that phrase. Let's find out what that phrase means. Let's look it up. Let's look up the origins of shits and giggles. Origins. Maybe one day I'll be able to type with one hand even faster than that. Let's find out. A vulgarized version of kicks and giggles. Kicks are a measure of amusement and giggles are a low form of laughter, hence the gain is purely trivial or mood elevator, meaning is greatly skewed to mean pointless with a hope for gain. I see. What about here? Anything else? For kicks and giggles, vulgarized version of it. Amusement for no serious purpose. private school, sheltered versions of shits and giggles, making it possible to just say for the hell of it without all the cursing. Okay. Fascinating. So it's kicks and giggles, not shits and giggles. Cool. I can delete this. I can delete this. Wonderful. I cannot use scrubby zoom when streaming, which is a little annoying, but it's the price I must pay. So I have to keep remembering to use Alt in the scroll wheel, because the zoom tool just is this now, and I'm not used to using that. Just keeps absurdly quiet so it doesn't break my concentration here. You know, my conversation skill, concentration. Not that there's really anyone to talk to. Rarely ever is. Damn it, I did it again. Where was I? Last time I did just the leaves here. Oh cool, every time I use the Alt button I'm gonna hear my computer make the noise that happens when you're not supposed to do something, and I was like, oh, by the way, you can't do that. So every time I hit Alt and then the space bar, lovely. Can't wait to hear more of that. What layer did I put this stuff on? Oh jeez. Flora? That's gotta be it. Oh no, I did. Just gotta remember to hit Alt twice and get used to not having a good time. You feel like you're about to have a bad time because you are. Always do. I don't normally have the best of times. Guess I can hide this for now. Oh look. Let's make this more yellowy. Give this grass a distinct feature. I always worry if there's such thing as cheating when making pixel art, but I think I've gotten to the point where I don't care. I'll just do it as is. You know, fuck it, we'll do it live. So. I think grass is going to be pretty easy. Grass and weeds. I mean, it's pretty much just lines. Eventually I'll have to add highlights, but I have to resist the urge to zoom in every 5 seconds, because that's usually how I do this stuff. It's just constant zooming in, zooming out, zooming in, zooming out. And I could use scrubby zoom if I was just recording the entire screen. But I don't want to do that because I want to check on the chat without people seeing what else I'm looking at. I don't want you to see my shameful anything, you know? That's a secret. It's my secret. Gotta get some bent leaves in here too. Get some Bentleys. Some cars, you know, Bentleys. Bentley is a car, right? Let's find out. Bentley. I'm not much of a car person, but there is a podcast that I've been watching lately that has gotten me interested in just cars in general. Talk a lot about salesmanship. It's just really fascinating. You find someone who talks about something they're really interested in, really passionate about, they know a lot about it, and they kind of just talk about it in a way that makes you go, oh man, you know, I was never into trains or automobiles or airplanes or anything like that. Not that they talk about trains and airplanes, but they start talking about like collecting stamps, and their passion for it is so strong, and you're like, damn, you know. Kind of makes me want to get into stamp collecting all of a sudden, because they talk about it in such a way where it's like, oh jeez, there's really a lot more to it, huh? I did that to someone once, talking about art. I never really had that much of an interest, but talk to them long enough, share your views on the subject. Eventually they were like, damn, I never really saw art like that the way you see it. It's interesting, you know? So the same thing happened with me with cars, and now I'm starting to be like, oh geez, I guess I should learn a little bit more about cars and what's out there, the market, so on, so forth. This is probably simultaneously the least and most tedious thing I've had to do, pixel art wise. I'm really glad I I remembered the color dynamic tool here. It really goes well with the sort of thing I do, artistically speaking. Works well with my interest in psychedelic art. I'm not used to sending text emoticons without the clown nose, so the faces just end up looking super flat to me all of a sudden. Super squashed. That's cool. Kind of reminds me of that clip. Western gunslingers were squinting their faces, and they ended up squinting so hard that they collapsed in on themselves. That was pretty amusing. Ah, damn it. I really should just keep... What feature is that? What feature is that? The graphics processor disabled until I get used to not using it. I think that'll help. Otherwise, that's just going to keep happening. Which I'm not looking forward to. Patch up all of these little holes here. Now it's starting to look a little more presentable. Glad the hand tool still works. That is the hand tool, right? That's what it's called. Yeah. Good. I'd probably be lost without it. Definitely makes this process a lot faster. I just realized that it doesn't show the color wheel when I select colors now. I forget who it was. There was some artist that I followed a while ago in Paris or something. Not that they were from Paris, but I think they just called themselves Paris. They always featured plants that had this bend in them, you know, very tall, leafy greens. If it weren't for that guy, I probably would just have them all standing straight up. Just not how plants look. They got character. They're wild, you know. And I did it again. That's cool. Yeah, those grasses look decent. Where's this grid at? Oh no. Is it just me? Or are these pixels moving every time I color them? No? Okay. Must be a trick of the light. Trick of the lack of graphics processor. Good. Now I need to figure out how to separate these two because I realized that this should be on a different layer. Not that this is going to take a lot of figuring out, but you know. I should have saw this coming. Oh well. Hindsight, 2020, etc. Kind of like that podcast I recorded. All of those should be... Actually, no, this one can stay up front. The rest need to be in the back. And no, that stays there. Cool. And that's this. So this can go up here. So when I reveal, the grass is still in the front. Very good. Very cool. Like it. All the plants are in their proper places. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just need to do that again. This can come over here. No. This. Cool. Plant. What are these things called again? Color palettes? I'm pretty sure I'm spelling color palettes wrong. It's fine. Would you stop not doing what I want? just do the thing I want to do without giving me fuss. Oh, hello. Sorry I didn't catch your chat there when you first showed up. I have no idea how long ago that was. But hello, Dave. Am I allowed to call you Dave on stream? I mean, I guess so. I already did that on the podcast. I don't get to see your chat immediately because I have to tab out of Photoshop to get into the chat room here. I don't know if you're aware of my computer or what it looks like, but I don't have multiple screens. It's just one tiny screen on this little XPS 11? Oh, fucking no, man. So, having to go back and forth, a bit of pain. So my lack of response here already drastically damaged by the latency of the stream itself, made worse by me just plain old not seeing any of the messages. So that's cool. Maybe we'll extend it out here a little bit. Have a little spot of grass over here. Yes, lovely. No worries about chat. Chat is officially not worried. We're no longer worrying about the chat. I'm going to completely ignore you now for forever. Forever and ever. I'm just kidding. I'll pop in every now and then. I'll pop in after. After some essential stages in each little thing are done. Mostly because I don't have a whole lot to talk about and just me rambling, talking. Kind of like I would when I'm by myself, but when I'm by myself I have much more lively conversations with myself, and it's largely because I'm having these lively conversations with people that would never talk to me in the first place. Really should address that, maybe in a drawing. I was unfollowing or unsubscribing to YouTube channels that I no longer really watch anymore. And as I was doing so, I was like, I remember a time when I really wish like I would meet these people and we'd be friends. There's a channel out there now called Millennial Thinker or Millennia Thinker, and a lot of their content is dedicated to that exact topic. ironically, I've had it in my head, oh, maybe I can like do a collaboration with this person, and it's much the same. Really should address this somehow, some ways, in some form or another. Probably as a little image. That'll be interesting. What do you think? Hey, King Flaws, hello. How'd you like the video? I understand full well that I might have come off as a little pretentious because, who the fuck am I? But, these are kind of questions that I ask myself, so when I tell people to ask themselves that question, it should be understood that I tend to ask myself that question a lot. And I still do. And, Oh, well, I'm glad we're on the same page. But, yeah, I'm always worried about being, I don't know, viewed in an undesirable light. The feeling of being a hack fraud is real, man. I certainly haven't really done a whole lot to prevent that from being the case. That series of videos mostly, if I do make a series of videos, I'm not like trying to make a regular podcast out of it. It's kind of just something that I did on a whim. And so if I do any others, they'll also be on a whim. I just have all the graphics and stuff in mind, or saved, set aside, ready-made, just in case my whim fires off. It's like, I got an idea. I mean, I know my perspective probably isn't worth very much to most people, but it's worth something to me. Maybe there's someone out there that feels the same way. And on the matter of being viewed in a bad light, I feel like we've kind of gotten into this point in time in our lives where people are kind of going, who gives a shit what other people think about you, and that's kind of like a common maxim or common ethos to have, not to worry what others think of you. And on one hand, that's pretty healthy. I don't begrudge anyone for believing that. But on the other hand, I can't help but feel like, did I use a darker color? I can't help but feel like I used a darker color over there, and I did. I need to put that in my palette. Where the hell is it? There it is. That's not the color. Is that the color? That's not the color, is it? That's not the color because I'm using because I'm still using color dynamic. But yeah, this sort of thing, this idea where we shouldn't be worrying about what others think of us is actually kind of new, more or less. Not necessarily new. I'm sure the Stoics back in Marcus Aurelius's time had something to that effect going on. But there used to be a lot of focus on a man's reputation, how it was kind of everything. I think there is some value to that. And because of that, I kind of become very self-conscious. And so that's kind of what brought about the question, why do you have to be an artist? I'm still not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing not to care what others think. You do what you want and fuck everyone else, you know, that's I think something, or a paraphrase of what John Waters said. I'm not really a huge John Waters fan, though I will say there's this movie he did called Peckerwood, and it's probably one of his least known films, but it's pretty good. It's about an amateur photographer, and he does a little art series, or not an art series, but he puts his photographs in a gallery, and it becomes really popular amongst the high class society, and he doesn't really understand what's going on, but they take a huge liking to his work, and you know, some of his photographs sell for thousands of dollars, and everyone in his neighborhood in Hamden, which I've been to that neighborhood a few times in my more impressionable youth days, they are kind of taken aback by it, and it affects his life drastically because the rich liberals from up in New York City are like, who gives a shit? If I can give this kid a lot of money, and then this Peckerwood photographer from a small town, or not really small town, a small neighborhood where everyone knows him, they all know what he's up to, you know, his photographs get out there, and it just changes everybody's life. It changes how they look at him, and I think that's a really good movie. I think it's a really great movie that he made. It's probably his best, probably the only movie of John Waters that I actually give a shit about. I don't really particularly care for any of his other stuff. Am I using this color? I am using that color, okay. Just wanted to double check. Dear Lord, I will never get used to that. Or at least it'll take me a very long time to get used to that. And I did it again. The eternal zoom debacle. The only thing about this color dynamic feature that I don't like is I have to keep going over the same line over and over again until it gives me the color I want. It's a little annoying, but it's the price you have to pay to have your good colors. Your good psychedelic colors. Gotta have them. Alright, where's this grid at now? It's all the way over there. Bring it here. Thanks. Bring it to me. Yeah, see if you can find it. Peckerwood is really fascinating. I think it's one of the few movies where it presents something that is obviously true. A great story of unintended consequences and innocence. Alright, I know these need to move. Ooh, wow. There we go. That's way up there. It needs to be down here somewhere. Wait, why is that back there? Which layer is that on? That layer? Oh. Why is that back there? There we go. I don't want to do that. I wanted to do it like this. A layer underneath. Now I don't have to deal with the consequences. I don't like dealing with consequences. It means I have to do something about them, and ugh. Consequences suck, man. There we go. I should do it over here too. Behind this little bush. I'll let that one slide. Actually, that probably should go up on the wall a little bit, shouldn't it? I see. And 1992, 1994, I was using Flesh Tone and Blood Palette. I got into High Chroma Saturated Palette 95 onwards. Definitely like the combo of Car Red and Ultramarine Light. Cadmium Red and Ultramarine Light. What is Ultramarine Light? Let me take a look here. That's like that bright blue, right? Let's take a look. Yeah. That's the your definitive 80s color palette right there. I've always wanted to get into oil painting. I don't need to do that. I can just do that here. So Cadmium Red is like around there somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look at Cadmium Red here for a second. Cadmium Red. Yeah, I pretty much got it. So Cadmium Red is this. No, it's not that. Again, Whoops. This is Cadmium Red. Or that's a close facsimile, and ultramarine blue is right around here. So there's your definitive 90s color palette right there, and you would mix them up. Maybe we'll throw in a little yellow here. Oh look, fire-breathing blue dragon. How cool is that? Alright, now let me undo all of that before I completely ruin this image. Oh, is that as far as back I can go? Oh no. Oh no. What have I done? It's fine. That was almost game over right there. Did I miss any? Did I miss any pixels? No? Good. Excellent. Great. Great! Yeah! Oh yeah? Marbling's pretty cool. I've never done it before, but I've seen it, and it's pretty fascinating. I've always kind of wanted to do some oil paintings with a bunch of various effects, including marbling and what's the term? Pour painting? You've seen pour painting? I don't think I need to explain this to you, but I'm gonna look up some pour painting because they look neat. Oh man, I love this. Look at this. Let me see if I can find, like, yeah, I guess I'll just stick with this one, the first image here. Just let me just copy the image so I can paste it in Photoshop. Yeah. Ooh, I love it. At work, sometimes there'll be like an oil spill. How much battery do I have on my phone? Okay, that should be enough to send something over Bluetooth. I have this really crappy battery, and so let's see. Share. Bluetooth. Send. Accept. So I'll show you some pictures I took the other day of a little oil spill we had that was just really fast. Would you stop? The Bluetooth notification keeps wanting to jump in. Like, yeah, I know you're sending me things. I know, thank you. I'm the one that did it. You don't need to inform me after each file. Please, I just want to work on these leaves back here. And I need to figure out what color I'm going to do them. Would you stop interrupting? But this oil spill looks a lot like yes, thank you. Looks a lot like a Poor painting. So let's see. Received files. Check this out. That's pretty neat looking. I like that. These are cool aesthetics. You know, you get the little cigarette button there. I like this area a lot. This is really cool. That just, I love the texture there. I love how it breaks up. Love these little holes. It looks so neat. You know, you get this little patch of color in the middle, breaking into this zone of white. The kind of cloudy swirls there. That's really cool. This is all hydraulic fluid, I think, for a snowplow. It just looks really neat. I don't need this open anymore. There might be a face in that, if you want to look for it. Did I select a color? Oh, jeez. What color did I have? It was probably like this. Maybe a little closer to blue. The realm of violet. That's probably about right. I need to look up a reference picture here real quick. What are those things called? Help me out here. There's a certain kind of ornamental plant. It has green leaves that sometimes have like spots of magenta in them. Oh man, I think it starts with a C. Ornamental, ornamental plants, green and magenta. Let's see if I can't find it like this. Let's see who comes up with the answer first. Oh, is that it? I think these are it. Coleus. That's it. That's what it is. Victory is mine. These things are so pretty. I like this. I like these a lot. I don't know which one to use as a reference more. Might be this. That's a good one. No, I don't need that anymore. Oh, jeez. Just stay there. Guess I'll get like a mustardy green. Mustard green. Put that color dynamic back on. Even though these are not Coleus leaves, I'm going to try and color them like they are. How far back do I need to take these? Okay, so everything past this point I don't need to worry about. Same with this. Can just do a general line here. So there is the limit. I don't need to go beyond that point when making these. It's really kind of relieving to get back into digital art after having not done it for so long. I think in a way I'm kind of glad my scanner broke because it gave me a reason to finally work on this set. It's kind of just been sitting around for a while. I've been meaning to do a lot of pixel art recently and I just never got around to it. Okay, so this thing uses, we can just go ahead and steal this magenta. It's largely just confined to the center of the leaf, like that. And then it'll branch off to the edges, but until that time comes, we're just going to worry about this. There we go. Try and go with the flow of the leaf, going in the direction of that point. This is something I need to consider more often. A lot of my work seems to have no real focal point, and if I'm going to try and improve as an artist, I think this is one of the many things that I definitely need to work on. And we can get a little darker towards the outside here. And then we can bring in this green towards the outside of it. So it kind of gradients very roughly. So it gives it opportunity to have a lot of really cool textures and colors going on. Start branching off into these little pads here. Or serrations, I guess, is more accurate. I'm pretty sure that's what the technical term is. Serrated leaves. Psychedelic mint leaves. Bromelid plants. Let's take a look. You mean I can't copy paste from this? Can I do it like that? Oh, I can. Cool. Bromeliad. These look cool. I like these. These are fascinating. They almost look like succulents. They look like the sort of evil, wicked plant that you would come across in the Conan Barbarian universe. The Black Lotus. These are distant relatives of the Black Lotus. Let's go ahead and make these leaves a little funky. Before I go in and add a little checker pattern. I'm never really sure if I like noise or checker patterns more. They seem to both have attractive qualities to them. There we go. Should help break up the hard lines a little bit. The hard edges of this red spot. I know the original plant there had them. Is this still there? Yeah, it's still there. It had those hard edges, but you know, I'm not really feeling that. Wrong one. I like smooth transitions a little more. Speaking of smooth transitions, I need to figure out how to do some really cool edits in After Effects. I have all of this software here for creative use, and I don't really get a whole lot of use out of it. And on the one hand, maybe it's for the best that I start cutting some of it out, but on the other hand, I can't help but feel like I'm going to want to use it for something. There's always a new project in mind, and they cannot be ignored. If I ignore these projects, then what's going to end up happening is I'm not going to ignore them at all. As I mentioned in that video, you know, I'll get lost in my head. I'll be stuck living in my head all day. And I'll be imagining what it's like when I finish this project. And I mean, this is something I already do a lot. I kind of daydream more than I'd like to admit. And I'd like not to admit to what kind of daydreams I'm having, but for the sake of the conversation and having something to say, so that way I'm not just streaming for no good reason. Sometimes it'll be dreams like finishing one of these projects that I have in my head, and everyone's really just going bananas over it. They're going crazy, they're going wild, they're really into it. And reality sets in when I actually finish something. Is like, yeah, you got paid in 5 people liking your picture. Hope that's cool. Hope you like it. I get paid in fire emoticons, 3 of them in a row, and heart eye emoticons, and your standard complimentary platitudes like, this is so cool, this is rad, this is awesome. It's like, cool, that's not really getting me anywhere in my art career, but thanks. Like, I can't do anything with this, but at the same time I kind of have to realize I made something that made someone really happy, and they want to express how much joy they get out of it, and I guess I should be grateful for that. But when it gets down to it, I'm kind of the sort of mind where it's like, yeah, but can I do anything with this? Like, that's the sort of mindset I have. I don't have it on purpose, it's just the way it is for me. Actual pixels. How does that look at a distance? Okay, maybe I should keep the hard edges there, but instead of, oh no, instead of just having this, I should probably focus on how it worked out in the original image. They had that kind of very small sliver in the center there, like that. Kind of looks a bit like another leaf. Kind of looks like palm leaves in a way. Let's grab that color. Let's grab this one. And again, wrong layer. Cool. Or like red oak leaves. It's important to be able to remember plants by names, that way you can look them up later. I forget who said it, but there's something to the effect of a writer's work can never be harmed by knowing too much. It can, however, be harmed by knowing too little. I think that's good intel. And certainly it must apply to being an artist. The more you know, the better your work is likely to be. I'm of that Athenian mindset, knowledge is power. I know ignorance can be bliss sometimes, but in order for ignorance to be bliss to take over, literally no one is allowed to pursue knowledge is power, and that's just not going to happen. So, kind of obligated here. Okay, that looks a little better. Yeah, get paid in emoticons. Turn them into non-fungible tokens, but they actually manifest in real silver dollars, real silver coins. That'd be cool. Not that I collect any of that shit, but that probably would be the direction that would end up going if that actually happened. Man, we would just crash the economy if we did that. Get paid $1 for each emoticon. You would just have emoticon posting farms in India, just a whole bunch of smartphones dedicated to being bots posting emoticons on someone's profile. And that someone is the guy that set that up in India. So maybe it's a good thing that we don't. Kind of reminds me, I have this idea, and I'm not going to do it because it's a stupid idea. It's self-evident how bad of an idea it is, and it's kind of just a joke. But I was thinking about doing a giveaway, and I was trying to come up with giveaway prizes that I could actually make happen. And one of one of the ideas I came up with is, yeah, if you win the giveaway, I'll give you my private information, social security and banking and stuff, and you will be encouraged to commit fraud on my name. Oh, that would be, I mean, just the concept of that alone just seems absolutely hilarious to me. Viral YouTube video. I gave someone my credit card information and told them to commit credit fraud in my name. This is what happened. This needs to be darker and more red, which means all of these have to go. I'll leave that much. That much can stay. Winner gets Dave's private bank information. Dave, are you ready to give up your private bank information and have people commit fraud in your name? 'Cause that's the prize. It's gonna happen. I actually told that to Victor last night when I was talking to him, because he reached out to me when I posted a comment on one of his posts. He told me he's getting LifeLock to protect himself. So, unfortunately, I will not be able to make a prize out of his information, which is unfortunate, but I guess that just means I have to find someone else to scam. Alright, now these leaves need to be made darker. So and to complete the darkening process here, Oh, perfect. We'll start by grabbing that color and this color. Nah, this one. I said this one. See, when you don't get to see the color wheel, it screws with you. I want this one. Thank you. Wait, did I grab? Okay, never mind. We'll do that back here. Then we'll trade these in for lighter variations. Yes, lovely. And then we'll just go ahead and reduce this down a little bit. Eh? Oh no, those are from the layer below, isn't it? Yeah. It's these. These are out of place. I need to change these. All the other ones will be fine. Oh no, they're over there too. Yeah, I guess I should take care of those. I'll just... There we go. That looks about right. Yes, lovely. Are those grasses over there that I need to take care of? Oh, look, we got more grass. Cool. Bring that down here. I'm also still trying to get used to the fact that my mouse's buttons are reversed. My left click has went up, and so no longer left clicks. Or it does, but very seldomly. So sometimes I have to click multiple times just to get it to work. So since right click works just fine, I don't really ever have to right click on anything all that much anyway. Not nearly as much as I would left click. I just decided, well, you know, let's just reverse the controls here. Poor man solutions to everyday problems. I can't afford a new mouse. No one's giving me money for my work. Gotta fucking just deal with not having a fully functional mouse for as long as humanly possible. And when it goes up, I'm just gonna have to learn how to use the trackpad. Oh no. I cannot imagine using using the trackpad to do this. That would be horrible. That would be torture. Trackpad is already unresponsive enough as is. And it's not because, you know, the trackpad is broken or anything. It's just by design. It keeps having to try and reinterpret and reactivate because, oh, you know, you were typing just now, so I gotta, like, disable myself before you click on something by accident while you're typing. And so having to, like, try and use a keyboard and a trackpad at the same time, oh man, that sounds like hell. I'm not looking forward to that at all. But at the rate I'm going, that's pretty much what's going to happen. So I guess for the remainder of the stream, I'm going to have to just start getting used to using the trackpad now. That's cool. Yeah. Trackpad time. Gotta get used to it now before the problems arise. Well, this isn't so bad. Honestly, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting a little more control. Oh no. This is actually way better than I thought it would be. I don't know how I should feel about that. I feel like I should be very upset that the trackpad handles better than the mouse. That's wonderful. Alden, what was your greatest achievement as an artist? I used the trackpad to make art. What? Yeah, I used my trackpad to make pixel art. Are you insane? A little. I just have a minor case of severe psychosis. Who said minor case is severe? Insert problem here first. I vaguely recall, I think it might have been Vine Sauce. Vinny Vine Sauce. Good old Vincent. I think that's where I got that joke from. Geez, everything we say these days is a reference to something, isn't it? Oh no, that's something you'd said too, isn't that? Ah, shit. Is nothing about me original? Horrible. Sweater and shorts. Did my mouse die? No. No, the mouse is still alive. Unfortunately. Wait, we're talking about my computer now. Mouse, not the mice in my walls. Yeah, that one hasn't died either. Night, Dave. No, my mouse is fine. It just is a little malfunctiony. If you're new to this chat, which it says you are, it says first time chat from viewer. So I'm guessing you're new to this. I don't know how long you've been new. Mice and walls are not good. Especially on account of disease. You know, you haven't had the experience I have. These things, ooh. Oh, I am legitimate, like, my repulsion to mice have become, it's become almost psychopathic how much I hate them. Like, I genuinely, feral mice in the home, if they come under my power, they're going to wish they were caught by a cat. That's how much I hate these things. I have zero sympathy for mice. Even it's gotten to the point where I don't even care for domesticated mice. Like, I see them in a video, I'm like, this just makes me really angry. This living creature here. His distant relatives are in my house right now, pissing and shitting all over everything, keeping me up at night. I remember, oh man, there's this one night I was sleeping and a mouse got in my bed, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And oh, the whole night I was just chasing this thing down. I'd get in bed and it would start chewing on something, I would chase it down, and I think it got a little cocky towards the end because it saw me stand up, turn the light on, and it didn't go anywhere. I don't know if it was like, if I stay still he won't see me, or if it was more like, this guy wasn't able to catch me this whole time, he's not gonna be able to fucking do anything to me. And I fucking, oh, that mouse is no more, thankfully. Took care of it. Took care of it. It's gone. Good riddance. A little bit of free white noise. Unless you're talking about the fan in the back or the heater under my table. Uh, I'm assuming when you say free white noise, you're talking about the mice, and I will pass. I will pass. Hearing them chew on anything in the middle of the night will wake me up, and I will be furious. I have found something though online that allows me to dispense with them without actually having to chase them down. It's this very high frequency thing on YouTube, which I had my doubts. I didn't actually expect it to work, because you probably seen like the technology out there. Oh, you plug this thing into the wall and it emits high frequency noises and it repels mice, and really it's just a fucking scam. It doesn't do that at all. So I thought this is probably just another scam, but my curious nature gets the best of me, so I'm like, I'll try it out, see if it's actually worth anything. And I turned it on, and the mouse that was in my wall, chewing up the foundation, chewing up the gypsum boards. If you don't know what gypsum is, if you have drywall or sheetrock or whatever you want to call it, those are all brand names of a type of construction board called gypsum, or it's a board made with gypsum. What layer is this on? Is this... Okay, I see. This should not be up here. This should be down here. But yeah, it's made out of gypsum, which is a pretty neat element, I suppose. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite minerals. You know, coming from someone who has done carpentry and home improvement a little bit. Not much, but I've got a little experience in the field and kind of get a little appreciation for the materials you work with. Still have half a mind to try and figure out how to do sculpture with mud. That spackle or drywall spackle, mud, that type of stuff. It's called mud in the industry, but most people just know it as spackle or caulk. And I've seen some people do really cool sculptures with that stuff. Like here, let me find an example. Spackle sculpture. Not sparkle, spackle. With a C. Yeah, check this out. Look at... Oh, man, that's really cool. I haven't seen this one yet. Look at that. That's really cool. I like that. This is something that I kind of want to get into myself. Maybe that'll, like, give me an edge in home renovation. I'll learn how to, like, make floral patterns. That would be really cool. I mean, I already know how to paint, so I could paint flowers on someone's walls. Expanding foam? I'm sure it can be done. Let's take a look. Expanding foam. Expanding foam sculpture. It's probably going to be some, like, abstract thing. Oh, someone made a chair. That's cool. But I fully anticipate, yeah, this is mostly abstract stuff, which is neat, you know, but if it doesn't have, like, any form... Oh, is this? Oh, that's cool. I like this one. This is good. I like this. Look at this. This was made with expanding foam. That's got some aesthetic beauty to it. See, that's where my concern is, you know, if it's just abstract. Is like, I mean, it's nice to look at. It's kind of just eye candy, but doesn't really have any aesthetic beauty in my opinion. But this, that's cool. I like that. It's really nice. If you can think it, someone's probably done it. That seems to be the case. But it is fascinating to see what people have come up with. It's a little sad though, because I realize that none of this is being used. It's like specifically being made for artistic purposes. And so, like, the trades are kind of... they're not able to really capitalize on that, because people who would do that wouldn't want to work in construction. I feel like construction companies should have art departments. That way my two interests can align. Not that I'm like a great construction worker or anything, but you know, if my brother wasn't on hard times, he'd probably hire me back again, full time. I would really like that. Fortunately, he is fallen on hard times, so that's not really in the question for him. It's not in the cards for him or me. So I guess maybe I should just take the time to, like, use the money I'm not earning from art to invest in learning how to make spackle sculpture. Be prepared for being the first construction company to have an art department. Oh, I don't know why that's funny to me, but it is. I think that's kind of unheard of. Is it unheard of? Let's find out. Construction company with art department. There's no way. These are very practical people. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Film set construction, but that's not the same thing as renovating houses. So, yeah, fourth generation restoration is going to be the first construction company to have an art department. Mark these words. Mark them. Get out your magic marker. Get out your permanent marker. Scroll it on your wall. Actually, you probably should use a paint marker if you're going to put it on your wall, because those things, you know, your permanent markers, your alcohol-based inks do not play very well on house paint. They really don't. They dry up. I know from experience. So if you want to draw on your walls and they've been painted with like latex paint, the kind of stuff you get from Home Depot, you're just gonna have some markers that don't work anymore after like 1 minute of drawing, if that. So get yourself some oil-based markers, paint markers. Get good ones too. Don't get the cheap, shitty craft aisle markers. Get the good ones. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Man, I wish my brother was over here, or I was over his house doing this. Then I could like tell him, you know, we're going to put an art department in his construction company. He's just not going to be able to argue with me. I mean, he can argue all he wants. And to tell you the truth, he probably wouldn't. He'd be like, yeah, that'd be cool, and he'd probably go along with it with a joke, thinking that I'm totally bullshitting him. And I kind of half am. But there, you know, it's like that meme, you know, I'm totally joking, by the way, unless. So that's what that is. I feel like these vines need to be a little more wavy in some places. Instead of just being these straight lines. I need to make them a little more wild, more voracious, more untamed. There we go. I think that looks a little better. Yeah, that looks way better. Gotta really make them rough too, so that way they look more organic. That looks a lot more natural. Not just a bunch of green lines anymore. I just redid the line that I was trying to rectify. That's cool. There we go. Still got some breaks here. Speaking of breaks, I'm about to take a quick one. I'm not going anywhere, but I need to step back and look at this thing. Yes, lovely. So far, so good. This is Pipe ASMR. You are listening to the sweet sound of a man smoking tobacco. Get the full artist experience. I want to get it to the point where you can practically smell it too. The smell of a man who probably can't really take care of himself all that well. Very negligent. I gotta focus on these projects, but let me browse YouTube for the next 10 hours. For no good reason. I have a few projects that I want to tell you about, but I'm of the mind whereas if I start telling people about them, I probably won't do them. So I'm just gonna keep that stuff a secret. Sorry. That's just the way it's gonna be. Also, sorry, probably shouldn't burp on stream. A thing I do like about streaming though is I've always kind of had this mind where the last Christmas painting I had to do was the Midnight Mass, and that did not come out very good because I had to rush because I put it off for so long. But the only reason it was finished in time at all is because I went over to my brother's house on Christmas Eve. I was like, hey, listen, I just need you to help me stay awake. Are you down to do that? And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? So we stayed up all night. I had him kind of supervise me and just, not necessarily supervise, but for me it was kind of a lot like that. Just keep me company and make sure I stay focused. If I didn't do that, then I probably would not have finished that painting at all. I would have been like, geez, looks like I gotta wait for next Christmas before I can post anything. Which is exactly what would have happened too. That's not even ironic joke, that's exactly what would have happened. Oh no, I didn't finish my Christmas set in time for Christmas. Looks like I'm not gonna be posting anything on Instagram for an entire year now. Yay! I'm gonna continue to sabotage my art career. How cool is that? I'm the worst thing that has ever happened to my own art career. Top 5 mortal enemies to my art career. Shitty printers and scanners. Malfunctioning mice. Social media. Me. The literal worst thing that has ever happened to my art career is myself. And that looks very lively. Take up some of this negative space here a little bit. Vines tend to have these little branching out tendrils to help them cling onto whatever surface they are climbing up. So I better take that into consideration too. I'm not even sure it makes sense to have vines here, to tell you the truth. It's just kind of a thought. I figured I was going to put some plants in. Why not vines? I guess I'm at the point where I can start worrying about shading. What color is this? I don't know, but I know what color it's about to be. That's starting to look more fleshed out. This vine is going in the back there, so gonna start wrapping this stream up soon because I'm no longer as talkative. Not that most people come here for my charming personality, because I don't have one. That's just the way it is. But seems for me this is just a social thing. And doesn't seem like there's anyone to socialize with, and I'm not that great at talking to myself in a live situation. I think I'll wrap this up in a minute. I'll finish this vine up first. And then start working on something else. Maybe I'll give you a taste of something that I'm working on right now. You one single viewer, one single anonymous quiet viewer, if there even is such a viewer. If you do exist. Figment of my imagination, really. Like so many of my other friends. Like so many of my friends and aspirations, they only exist in my imagination. All my success is right up there in my skull. Yeah, I'll save it here. Close that. And bring this up. Pause the music that I'm listening to that you cannot hear. Screen capture. Add source. Add new source instead. Yes. Done. Really? Is that the way it is? What's going on here? Why does it look like that? Oh, I'm messing around with the wrong layer. How do I edit this layer? Here we go. Oh no. Fresh streamer problems. It's cool. Let's take a look at how it looks on the stream. Let me check in here. Yeah, well. That's just how it's gonna be, I suppose. Best I can do is try and center it. Okay. So here's a little taste of something I'm working on. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. You're not going to know anything about it. You're just going to experience and speculate. I bet that woke someone up. So that's that. And that's the end of the stream. So I'm going to start working on that. And I'm going to leave it there. Good night. Good night. Good night. Oh wait, no. I can do better than that. Where is it? Do I not have it? No. I'm gonna have to pull it up here.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good. And incidentally, night.